What's going on, everyone? ActivesiN here, and today I just wanted to talk about my experience transitioning from console to PC. Now, to clarify, I still have my consoles. I have my Wii U here, which I am simply holding on to trade in towards the Switch. I have my Xbox One S, which at this point is plugged into the 4K TV, and that's mainly a 4K Blu-ray player now. And I'll play some games that I rent. I play it through the Xbox. And I had a PS4, but I did get rid of it. I will probably get one later, PS4 Pro, when God of War and Last of Us Part 2 are out. But lately I have been frustrated with the consoles for different reasons. The Wii U because of its droughts from Nintendo games. But when it does get Nintendo games, they do run well and they look good as well. The PS4 was disappointing because it just didn't have enough exclusives at the time, and its performance on a lot of games struggled to maintain even 30 frames per second while hitting 1080p. And the Xbox One has been very disappointing to me. Xbox 360 was my favorite console last generation, and this generation Xbox generally runs games worse than the PS4 because of its weaker hardware. On several games, it's sub 30 frames per second, even at 900p resolution. Frankly, it's just unacceptable. So yeah, I just kind of got fed up with all that. The consoles have also lost their biggest advantage over the PC, which was, just take a console home, plug it into the wall, put your game in, and start playing. That doesn't happen anymore. Every game has to be installed to the hard drive, whether you download it or if you get the disc and put it in, everything goes on the hard drive. So that advantage is gone, and now consoles do updates, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because updating is it's good. You get things fixed and you add extra features, but at the same time, the simplicity of a console isn't there anymore, and that was the biggest advantage a console had. The only advantage left, as far as I'm concerned, is you can still rent physical games and you can trade them in and stuff. You can't do that with PC because the majority is digital, and even if you buy a PC game on disc, they don't let you trade those in. And with Phil Spencer bringing most, if not all, Xbox exclusives to the PC, I thought it's a good time to try transitioning over to PC gaming. For majority of the games anyways. Obviously exclusives still have to be played on the consoles, but any game that's available on all platforms, for me, it's gonna be on PC going forward. So I've been playing PC for a few months now, and for the most part my experience has been very positive. The games are cheaper with sites like G2A, CDkeys.com, Instant Gaming, Humble Bundle. You get games for a fraction of the cost of what they are on the consoles. I'm playing games that I had back on the 360, picking them up for around $5 or less, maxing the games out 1080p, 60 FPS, highest graphic settings. It feels like a new game. This generation has been filled with games that are just remasters, seemingly just the PC version of the game ported over to the consoles. It is hilarious seeing these games launch for $60 US on the consoles, but you can buy them on PC for under $10, and when they launch the console version with updated textures or whatever, the PC version, which you got for $10, gets updated for free. Like the BioShock collection, I got all 3 of those games, I think it was for $8. And they got updated to the new version, which launched on consoles for $60. And same thing with Darksiders War Mastered Edition. I picked that game up for $4, and it got updated to the War Master Edition. That's awesome. But then again, on console you have to buy it again, and that's crazy to me. Meanwhile, with new games on launch day, they're still cheaper than they would have been on my Xbox or the PS4. I'm in Canada. A brand new game here costs $80, which is roughly $60 US. While on PC, they'll be $50 my currency. It'll be $40 US on launch day. That's a massive saving for one game. I picked up Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens a month or two after it launched for $17 through CD Keys. it was still $80 for Xbox. So yeah, saving money has been a huge plus. And of course, Steam has several excellent sales throughout the year as well. Speaking of Steam, Steam has streamlined gaming on the PC. It is super user friendly. It makes everything easier. It keeps all your games in one area. It has achievements just like the Xbox and PlayStation. You have chat options like voice chat, and you can actually message people as well. And it's a free service. It is a great program. It makes PC gaming a lot easier. There are other ones like Origin and Uplay, but for the most part I've just been using Steam. I don't have much experience with the other ones. And as far as games go, they run better in both frame rates. They run better with higher frame rates, and they have better quality graphics, of course, if the hardware can sustain that. Having a game run at 60 frames per second, it's a better experience than 30, or in some cases sub 30 on the consoles. It's a night and day difference. The games feel more immersive, and they're definitely more responsive. Having a game at 60 is just a better experience overall. Higher quality graphics is nice too. I'm not just talking resolutions, because the consoles can do 1080p. I game at 1080p on my computer, but the settings are higher, so the quality looks better. You get higher textures, it just looks better. But for me, it's more about the advantage of having 60 frames per second. It's just a better experience. Another cool thing is there are no generations with PC, so you can play games that came out like decades ago, like PS2 games, even further back than that. Whereas the consoles, the PS4 doesn't really have backwards compatibility. You can stream PS3 games through PS Now, but that's a monthly service. And Xbox One lets you play some Xbox 360 games, and Wii U has full compatibility with Wii games, but nothing further than that. So that's nice too. You can play some really old games as well, and a higher resolution, but they're old, so it's not like they look amazing or anything. But you still have access to them, so that's really cool. Now, obviously, it's not all sunshine and rainbows here. Sometimes there are poorly optimized games at launch, like Batman Arkham Knight, or more recently Dishonored 2 and Mafia 3, which are bad PC ports. Eventually, this stuff does get fixed, but you do have to be cautious about these things. It's not so bad if you buy directly through Steam, because they do have a 2-hour refund policy. So if the game turns out to be broken or just doesn't run well, you can refund it within 2 hours. But if you buy a game through GTA, for example, and you activate it through Steam that way, there is no refund policy. So you do have to be cautious about things like this. That's why generally I don't buy these games on day one, because they might be broken. So I do tend to watch guys on YouTube like Joker Productions or Santiago, because they will benchmark the games and kind of test them out. So that way you can get an idea if it's actually a bad port or not. Eventually, again, like, the stuff does get fixed and the price will go down. Like Batman Arkham Knight runs well now. It has positive reviews on the Steam reviews, and you can get the game for like $10, $15 now. So if you wait, you can wait till the game's fixed, and you can save a lot of money that way too. I like that I can still use my Xbox One controller for games. For shooters, I use keyboard and mouse because it's just more accurate. It's just better. But for action adventure games, it's more comfortable to use the Xbox controller, I find, so I just do that. Playing an adventure game with a keyboard and mouse just feels weird to me. It's also nice that you can switch between the monitor or TV to play games. Now obviously you can do this with a console as well, but for some reason people believe you cannot play PC on a TV, but you can, so I thought I would just mention that here. Now as far as issues I have had transitioning to PC gaming, there are a few. Sometimes they're just like simple things on console that you can do that are like needlessly difficult on PC. Like, for example, recently I was playing Doom and I wanted to record gameplay for it. OBS would crash every single time. My Elgato would crash. Like, it would just freeze randomly while recording. I had the game on Xbox and it would record no problem, either with the built-in recorder or with the same Elgato. I could plug that in and it would record no problem. Turns out, because on PC it's using Vulkan engine, these programs, they don't seem to work well together, so it was causing issues. Things like that are annoying. I bought a game, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. It wouldn't turn on. It wouldn't load. I went to the Steam help forums or whatever. I couldn't get it to work. Luckily, that game was only $2, so it doesn't matter too much, but at the same time, that's a problem. Less of an issue now, I guess, since you can just refund it. At that time, they didn't have the refund policy. But stuff like that is annoying. That's a one-case scenario. I have not had that happen with any other game. That was a one-time thing. Still, I've never had an issue like that with the console. Another problem is not many of my friends game on PC. They're all on Xbox, so that has been an adjustment. Obviously, it's not a big deal for single-player games, but for multiplayer games, it's a problem for now. Eventually, this will not be an issue once I find more people on PC to play with, but for now, it's a bit of a problem. Another thing with PC gaming is it's about another thing with PC gaming is constantly thinking about upgrading your parts. Whether it's a new video card, CPU, monitor, mouse, keyboard. I recently got the AMD RX 470, the MSI Gaming X1, and I still, like, every once in a while I find myself like looking at Newegg, like, ooh, the 1070's on sale, ooh, the 1080's on sale, and I have no reason to. It's stupid. I just bought a new graphics card. But you just kind of like think about these things. Like, I don't mean to think about it. It just happens because you're playing a game in 1080p, 60 frames per second. Then all of a sudden you're like, I wonder if I can play this game at 1440p at 60 frames per second. Then you try it, it doesn't work. Or you can't get it to the level you want. Or hey, I wonder if I can do 1080p with 144 hertz. Ah, shit, my monitor is 60 hertz. I would have to get a new monitor. So it's like these kind of things just run through your head. Now, obviously, this is a personal problem, so I've kind of set a little limit to myself. I have maintained that I want 1080p 60 FPS, simply because I don't want to spend more than I have to on video games. Like, it's just video games to me. So I think 1080p 60 FPS is a good goal. Eventually 1440p will become cheaper, and when that is like doable for around the same price as 1080p, then I'll consider upgrading. But for now, I think 1080p 60 FPS is fine, especially coming up from the consoles. It's such a huge upgrade anyways, so I'm very happy with that. But I have to keep this in the back of my head because I am quite impulsive. I might buy something unnecessary, so I kind of have to set these rules for myself. But yeah, other than that, PC gaming has been great. It's nice not having to pay $60 a year to play games online. There's more freedom with the PC. The games are cheaper, they run better, they look better. There's more options because, of course, it's still a computer. You can still do non-gaming things on it. You can still do video editing, for example. I even built my first computer for the first time from the ground up. Built it for my girlfriend. It's her Christmas present, and that was a fun experience. I ordered all the parts online. I used PC Part Picker to kind of design what I was going to build here. I got one thing through Craigslist. I got a case because that was like way cheaper through Craigslist. But otherwise, everything was like from Newegg or NCIX. I don't know if you guys have that in the States, but it wasn't as difficult as I thought. Like it was kind of like Legos, I guess. I see a lot of people compare it to building Legos. It's similar because like each part only fits in one area, so it's kind of hard to screw it up. But you do have to be careful and take your time. I think it took me maybe 2 hours to put everything together, which I don't think was too bad for first time. And yeah, getting Windows installed wasn't too much of an issue. I had one problem with like installing drivers. That's because I didn't prepare for that ahead of time, so that's more my issue than anything. But it wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it was going to be. My computer was a pre-built one that I got a few years ago off Newegg, and eventually just like upgraded the RAM and the video card and the power supply. So that was my my first time actually building a computer, which I thought was actually a lot of fun. That was cool. Now, obviously, it's not as easy as a console. You know, you just plug it into the wall. You don't have to really build a console. But if building a computer is just something that sounds too hard, or you just don't want to do it, like, you can get a pre-built one, or if you buy all the parts, you can take it to a store and they can just make it for you. You can always do that. Obviously be a little more expensive, but that's just what it is. But yeah, I guess that's about it. It's been a good experience overall. So I guess I should thank Phil Spencer for bringing Xbox games to PC. I gotta thank Sony and Microsoft for making lackluster consoles that have pushed me into PC gaming, because I'm having a great time. And Nintendo, you failed me with the Wii U, but I will be there for the Switch because I am liking what I'm seeing. And yeah, PC gaming has been a lot of fun. I guess that's about it. I will talk to you next time. Bye.